What is going on, everybody? And welcome back to another episode of Blast Beats here at ATB, hosted by yours truly, Zach Nur. And as always, alongside my co hosts, Chris Spooner and Radical Larry. What's going on, gentlemen?
Not much. How you doing, Zach?
I'm doing pretty good. It's just been another week of work, waiting for a change. Um, but those come. And Larry, what's going on, man?
Oh, we're doing great. I got my laptop back. You can see my ugly mug again. We're ready
Hey,
to rock,
it's
man.
it's been very missed. And actually, speaking of seeing your ugly mug, and we're gonna say that you said that statement. I'm just repeating. We need to address something right away because the Twitter account had a pretty decent, pretty awesome little tidbit to share with you guys, and talking about that flag right behind you. So if you want to share with that real quick.
So last night was Cinco de Mayo, and one of my heroes, Jose Mangan, he's a radio DJ on Sirius XM Liquid Metal and Octane, was doing just a Cinco de Mayo hangout on the SXM Octane Instagram Live. So every time he goes on, I hop in there and requested, because he was taking guests, and I requested to go on there. He pulled me on. We were just shooting the shit, talking, and I showed him my Parkway Drive flag and magazine cover I've got mounted. And then I was like, man, Jose, I can't wait till we get some new Parkway Drive. And he goes, I'll tell you what, they just gave us a new song to listen to. It's coming out within the next month or so on Octane. So we just broke
Boom,
news over the air. That's the first
boom.
time he said it out loud. I was like, oh, yeah, new Parkway Drive's coming.
Boom. ATB or not ATB Blast Beats, but ATB Blast Beats on top of everything. We've been on a roll. You got to
We're
stay
breaking
with
news.
it. We're breaking news. We're predicting news. Call us Blastradamus.
That was pretty good.
Yeah, that was pretty great. But yeah, it's been fun. And man, so the April episodes, we were kind of struggling a little bit with some of the new music. And man, May has come in with a bang. And I'm quoting our wonderful man Spooner here. Hasn't it, Spoon? It's come in very, very fierce.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there was a lot to look forward to this month. Unfortunately I haven't gotten to listen to any of the new drops from this week, but I've got a lot on my list. There's Hailstorm came out with something. There's the black metal ish project from Matt Heafy that we talked about last week. Ibaraki. Fozzie's got something new. Upon a Burning Body dropped something. There's just a ton of shit this week that I need to catch up on.
Yeah, I got off last night at midnight, so one, I cannot go to sleep after I get off of work immediately. I need at least like 2 to 3 hours, which meant I had a decent amount of time to listen to some new music. This is a rock and metal show, but Jack Harlow released last night, so I had to listen to that, and then I just started going in on all of these albums. And first thing I hit Silverstein. Silverstein did incredible. Oh my gosh. Um, there's a couple of interesting electro breaks. Doesn't at all take away from the album whatsoever. There's this one song called "The Altar Mary," and the back half of that one gets a bit crazy with the electro, but I freaking loved it. I love Silverstein. They're one of my favorites. Was really, 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 really rocking with that this week. Um, yeah, great drop, great drop.
Larry?
I haven't checked that one out. Yeah, that's coming up next.
What do you guys got? What do you guys got? Let's go.
Uh, I'll jump right into it. Spoon's going to listen to this stuff in a little bit, but I got 3 releases this week. Hailstorm came out with a new album. I've been on Hailstorm since their inception, so I'm always going to listen to something that they come up. It was okay. I haven't been a fan of the last couple of releases that Lizzie's come out with. There was one good song on there that I really, really enjoyed, but it wasn't even heavy. It was just some really cool acoustic stuff. And then after that, I checked out Fozzy. Y2J out here putting out hits. Y2J just wants to have a rock band and make rock music and have a great time doing it. And that's exactly what he's doing. He's not making anything that's going to go out there and win a Grammy, or it's not going to be some profound, campfire gospel stuff, but it's good tunes. It's just flat out windows down, good tunes. I enjoyed it. Um, did a cover of "Relax," that old '80s hit.
Okay.
I'm not gonna
Okay.
sing
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
You can figure it out. Holy shit! Sorry.
Oh, I thought that was me. Oh, thank God.
Apologies. And then I wrapped it up with "Upon a Burning Body's new album. Big fan of Upon a Burning Body. It was pretty thrashy, actually. I don't
Yeah.
know what you want to categorize them, like some sludgy deathcore, but they got pretty thrashy. It was grooving pretty good. It was like Great Southern Trendkill, Pantera type stuff.
Really
Yeah.
interesting. I'm
Yeah,
I'm I'm not familiar with the band. I've heard a song here or there, but I'm not really familiar with them. They're one of those that I've heard the name a ton, but never listened to. So
Yeah,
interesting.
I was actually listening to that before. That was what I was listening to right before we got on, and yeah, no, it grooves.
it's
It's good.
it's a
It's
ripper,
good.
man. It's
Yeah,
pretty good. It's all gas, no brakes, kind of like Extinction AD. I was
yeah,
a big fan. I'm gonna give it a couple more spins.
yeah,
Awesome.
yeah. It was impressive. Um, something that I unironically checked out this week was AWOL Nation's new album. Um, and okay, something I did not know when I brought this up in the past couple weeks. This was a cover album, and a very interesting cover album. It was a lot of fun. So like they technically, because they all come up in the rock, whatever. It's not a rock album whatsoever. I'm trying to find it. But yeah, just a bunch covers album. Here it is. Here it is. Come on. Material Girl was one of them. Madonna's Material Girl got covered. It's called My Echo, My Shadow, My Covers, and Me. Um, Beds Are Burning from Midnight Oil. It's got a Rise Against cover. Cover with Taylor Hanson of Hanson. It was pretty interesting. It was pretty interesting. But yeah, I haven't listened to them in forever, and I thought it was going to be a big album of like his own stuff. But I was disappointed. I was disappointed. It's very poppy, not necessarily rock whatsoever. But I mean, worth a spin. It's not a Weezer cover album. But, eh.
Yeah. And speaking of bands that we haven't listened to in forever, another band who dropped something recent today that at least I haven't listened to in God 10, 15 years. Simple Plan dropped a new
Yeah,
album today. I'm gonna be checking it out. I have no idea what I'm going to be getting into there.
I
Hopefully,
wanna
2003.
Yeah,
I
it
wanna
was it was
say
on there the last time I listened to them.
I wanna say that they were on like a couple of the last runs of Warp Tour and were making a comeback. Because I think I definitely remember there being some hype around them playing in the festival. Um, I never really got into Simple Plan. That was a bit before me. Even though I am a diehard Blink fan, I never like a lot of the other pop punk bands from that era. I didn't necessarily establish like an attachment with, the same as I did with Blink, because I was surrounded by a lot of Blink 182 fans in high
Yeah,
school and stuff like that. So, definitely kind of cult like took that down to one. But yeah, no, it's I've heard a couple songs, and that's something I kind of want to check out. Very interesting.
yeah. I've never been a huge Simple Plan guy, even like back when I was listening to them, but they had a few bangers. I rocked Perfect a lot.
Mhm.
Addicted. So I'm
I'm just a
interested to see.
kid.
Yeah, I'm interested to see if they've kept that sound, if they've what they've done with it, how it sounds 15 years later.
Yeah, yeah, because a lot of those bands end up maturing and changing the sounds. So
Right.
I mean, look at Fall Out Boy now, which I love. I love modern Fall Out Boy as much as old Fall Out Boy. So hashtag bold takes. Anything else that we had that came out recently or on the or from? Did we record on Friday last week? Was it before releases or after releases?
I think it was
I'm trying
Friday
to remember.
last week. It was
I'm
it
trying to
was
remember if anything came
Thursday or
out.
Friday.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember if anything had come out that you guys wanted to touch on. Oh, Ramstein.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Spoon, did you get a chance?
Yes, I did. I did listen to the Ramstein from a couple weeks ago. It was interesting.
I agree.
It wasn't anything that I was a huge fan of. There was some good, highlights of it, and there were a lot of interesting production choices and interesting musical choices that I just kind of wasn't a fan of. Um,
Yeah, I agree with you. I thought it was a pretty sad and gloomy album, pretty slow. I did think it picked up towards the back half of it, um, with some genuinely good songs that I really enjoyed. But I was such a huge fan of their last album that had some just absolute hits that I was really looking forward to this, and then it was just sad. It was like, and I'm not even saying like it was a sad effort. It was just a shit album. I'm like, it was just sad music.
right.
Ramstein made me some sad music.
Yeah, they were
Yeah,
they were definitely in touch with their sad boy kind of aesthetic there, which I mean, sometimes it worked. Like there were some really good songs on the album, but just overall kind of fell a little flat for me.
Yep, I agree. Same.
yeah. I will admit the lack of releases last week had me a bit swept up in all of the future hype because of the album release and then deluxe album release less than a week later and just losing it. But the few that I did hear from that album, I was pretty psyched. But again, singles can be deceiving on the whole. We've talked about that with Iceland Kills.
Hmm.
Um, it can be very deceiving. Some bands put out fantastic singles, and then the project as a whole kind of does not live up to the hype. And flip flop it, I was not hyped for that Iceland Kills album, and that very much surprised me. Um, yeah, no, lots of stuff released this week, and if this is what May has in store for us, it's going to be a fantastic month. Um, because next week is Larry's favorite. I know he's been waiting on this one for a long time.
Hmm.
Phototroph.
I've been bumping the singles left and right leading up
They're a
to it.
pure noise band.
Yep.
Oh my god, I love pure noise. Wow, that's awesome. That is freaking awesome. So yeah, we got Larry's favorite coming out next week, and one of my favorites coming out next week as well, Black Keys. They released another single for that and made me even more hyped for this album. It's giving me El Camino vibes hard. Even Brothers vibes, and I'm like, yes, please, please, back to 2012, 2013. Let's do this. Um, yeah, lots of fun stuff coming up, and there's more announcements and more releases coming. um who knows when we'll get the new Parkway Drive? Who knows when we'll get the new Slipknot? Who knows when we'll get all these really big announcements we're waiting
Since
for?
we're pretty good at making these predictions, we've got a timeline within the next couple months, um, for a Parkway Drive single. So that would lead me to think that maybe late fall, winter time for an
Yeah,
album.
for an album, yeah, that's what
Yeah,
I'm thinking.
I would assume late fall.
And
Do
then on the
how
flip side, we also know that Slaughter to Prevail's got new music coming out, a new song coming within the next couple months on Liquid Metal. So I would go. I think
See,
actually that would all hinge on Alex Terrible getting out of
yeah,
Russia.
yeah, that's the
what
thing.
are
That one's going to be tricky because there's a whole different set of circumstances there. Like if it was just Slaughter to Prevail is recording a new album, I would probably peg that one as an early winter release. But you have the whole complications of Alex trying to leave Russia and trying to flee Russia for what it looks like. Um, so yeah, that throws a whole wrench into things. Whether he's going to be able to get out, how that's gonna play out, how complicated it's going to be to record while trying to move across the country, across an ocean to another country. It could be a mess. So it could be quite a while before we get that. But just the fact that we are going to get something soon-ish has me excited.
I'm trying to get a bit too deep into this because I looked up in like significant Australian dates um, to see if there was anything in the back half of the year for a Friday that would be like, that could be something. That could be something. Do they care about Halloween at all? Because 28th is a Friday in October, and if I mean, it's not late fall, but that's a couple days before Halloween, and that would lead for a very interesting marketing push. Um, just with what we saw, and I think it's worth to point out what we saw at the end of last year, where we got into October, the beginning of November, and then everything slowed down dramatically. So, because the end of the year was a bit dry.
I'm not sure.
So it'll be interesting because I think whenever I think of a winter release, I always tend to think beginning of the year, like January.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see when they historically have released albums because they were on a strict
Ooh.
2 year, like a 2 year window with coming out with something new. All I mean, since their inception, 04, 06, 08, 10, 12, 16, 18. And then
That's a
obviously,
good shout.
I can see a pandemic completely screwing that up for everybody.
Right.
Okay, that's a good. Okay, here we go. Here we go. The last so Reverence was released in May. Obviously, that's out the window. They released it on May 4th. So two
Then it was
days ago.
July for Ire.
No, September. September 25th.
Oh, I've got July. This was the deluxe edition on Apple Music then.
And then Atlas came out on the 26th of October.
Deep Blue was
June
29th.
Yeah, 29th, 25th. And then
So it looks like summer and fall dates.
summer
Yeah.
and fall. So they look, but like September. So Killing with a Smile was September, and Horizons was October 6th. So I would say anywhere between the beginning to end of October. They're due for an October release.
Yeah, I would say if we're getting a single in the next month, October, November sounds right.
All right, we're gonna put the Blast Beats stamp on.
No, 100%. Reverence was an outlier. So look, the first album they released in September. So Killing with a Smile was in September. Horizons was October. Deep Blue was in June. Atlas was in October. Ire was in September. Reverence is the only one before any of that. This one has to be in October. They haven't had another one in October. It's an October
Blast
release.
Beats is calling it October release. Parkway Drive.
Boom. I'm telling you right now, October release.
And then we're gonna double down. We're gonna sprinkle a little bit extra on the money line for the album title.
I don't know if I want to get that deep because I don't.
It's gonna be a one-word album. I can tell. They love their one-word album.
Oh yeah. They've gone away. The only two are the two of the first three, and Deep Blue pretty much is close enough to being a one-word album. Pyro.
I'm looking at religious words. All right, it's gonna be called
Is
Jesus.
Atlas a religious word?
Well, I know their last album dealt with grief, and it looked like the Sistine Chapel on the album.
Yeah, I can see that a bit.
I guess that's a little bit more like a Renaissance painting. I don't
What
know.
was Ire's? What was the artwork for Ire supposed to be based on?
It looks like
It's like a
a
carving.
wooden ship crest or something like that.
Oh, it literally looks like a freaking ship, like the spinning wheel of a ship. It's literally what it looks like.
So we're coming back to the Winston pirate theme here.
So the pirate metal.
Yeah,
It's going to be a pirate metal album, an October pirate metal album. They've just been waiting.
Horizons Atlas. Damn it.
Yeah, no.
Before the end of the episode, I'm going to come up with a name.
October. I'm calling it right
I'm
now.
going to have the album name.
October. Man. If we actually get that, I'm gonna lose it. I have been on a run recently of predictions that have like been pretty accurate. I did a lot of accuracy in nailing the free agency with all my pieces. I was pretty psyched. Yeah, Parkway Drive's coming. Slipknot, that's a whole other question because I don't think we've heard a peep from them since Chapeltown Rag, right? Rag, not Road.
Yeah, Rag.
When that has to be summer.
Yeah, it's gonna be late summer, I would assume. Corey has said a few times that it's almost done, so it's got to be coming soon.
Let's look. June, August, May, August, October, August. So yeah, I'm gonna say July, August release. Although the only thing that's interesting with that is, let me look at All Hope Is Gone. Yeah, it might be earlier than that, and I'm thinking more something along the lines of like, because that's so much time between the first single and the last and the album to come out. Like they don't really have a lot of time between their. That's not true, especially with the last album. Never mind. I recant that statement. I recant that statement. I forgot about Unsainted, because technically that was the first single, and that came out well before the album.
Yeah.
Or yeah, or was it We Are Not Your Kind? What was the one loose song that they released beforehand?
We Are Not Your Kind.
Yeah.
All Out Life, All Out Life.
Yeah.
Yes, and that's the one when they said We Are Not. Yeah, okay. So that one, when did that come out? That came out in 2018. So yeah, that predated the album quite a bit. So yeah, 2021. We're in 2022. Chapeltown Rag came out November 5th. So who knows? Who knows? I'm ready for that though. It's been a while. I'm ready for some new Slipknot.
Yeah, absolutely. I eagerly awaiting that album. Corey has been teasing it for so fucking long.
For quite some time. Yeah, there is there anything else upcoming that is like extremely pressing that we've been looking at? Because I definitely feel like there's something that I'm missing that I thought I can't find it.
I mean, we touched on Moontooth, and that's what I'm holding out for.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What
no,
more
not
comes out
really.
about
Not in the next couple weeks.
Oh well, I mean, I have my State Champs album. That's probably what I'm thinking of.
Probably.
Yeah, and that's coming out. That's probably next. Oh, whoa. Okay.
Something happened.
Yeah, massive lightning strike.
That's what that was. Okay.
Yeah, no. For me flipping back like that for full transparency, like a couple weeks after we moved into this apartment, our balcony got struck by lightning.
Wow.
We were on the balcony. I saw it strike the gutter and the spark come off the gutter from the lightning strike. And it actually, there's a 7-Eleven behind my apartment complex, and it destroyed their pumps for about 2 weeks. All the electricity in their pumps and got shut down. So yeah, for some reason, hotbed for lightning activity at my apartment. So we don't really use the balcony as much anymore. Yeah. So that really got me. That was loud.
Yeah.
It was more the light because that flashed hard. I was like, who's taking my picture? All right. Anyways, question time. So we had this kind of saved up from the last one because they kind of run together from the last one of the last questions we had with like best hooks and stuff like that. And this is more so getting down hardcore with the lyrics and what are the best like well-known lyrics. And I want to kick off with one of the same songs I said in the first one, but that is Enter Sandman. I mean, literally, as I said in the last video, the whole chorus, you have the entirety of the Virginia Tech Stadium chanting after the song is cut off without flaw. It's just inevitable, and it's beautiful, and it warms my soul every time I hear it, and it's amazing. I know there are other Metallica songs that are better, but don't think there's more Metallica songs that are more popular.
Agreed.
Yeah, definitely.
But I will now push to you guys.
Yeah, go ahead, Larry.
All right. The first one for me, I'm not a huge lyrics guy. I don't relate to lyrics. They don't stand out to me. I don't give a shit about lyrics in songs as long as they're not overtly cringe. With that being said, these are some. I'll go one and I'll go around the horn with it. But Dead Skin Mask, Slayer. The chorus: "Dance with the dead of my dreams, listen to their hallowed screams." That's just a fun line to chant and sing. Easy enough for me. Songs about Ed Gein. Shout out Wisconsin serial killers.
Yeah, see, I am pretty much the exact opposite of Larry here. I am a big lyrics guy. Like for me, songs are all about something that sticks with you, and sometimes it's a drum fill, like Lars with the kick bass in one. Sometimes it's a vocal thing, like when Tatiana kicks in on Pisces, or Will Ramos's pig scream at the end of To the Hellfire. But for me, usually it's just like one specific lyric from a song. And like my most recent example of that is from Fit for an Fit for an Autopsy, their song Savages. The
Banger.
absolutely great song, but the line for me is, "You fucking gluttons, let that sink into your fucking skull." It just makes me want to run through a brick wall. And I don't run.
I think you run fairly well.
Spoon doesn't run; he rolls.
Ayo.
Trips and falls and cracks
Inertia, inertia from the wheels is faster than the legs can do. Yeah, so I'm gonna kick my first one off with the first song that got me into Slipknot, and that's Before I Forget. And the chorus on Before I Forget, I mean, it's another one that has become one of their more popular songs. But I'll never forget hearing that for the first time on Guitar Hero 3 Legends of Rock, and just falling in love with it immediately, and just having that I am just replaying in my head over and over and over and over and over again. Got me into Slipknot, got me to listen, introduced me to more, and man, here I am today, having seen Slipknot once, needing to see them again, and anxiously awaiting more releases. But yeah, Before I Forget, first song that I ever listened to by them, and just fantastic chorus that everyone just screams all the time. There's other personal favorites that I have, but from like an actual recognition standpoint, that's the one that I push forward. Obviously, Psychosocial and Duality as well. They're also up there. But
All right. Is that back to me then?
Yeah.
yeah.
Next one. Gojira, Flying Whales. One of the great intros to a song. Great build up, great riff. But the best line in the whole song is when he screams, "Now I can see the whales." And once again, that's just a hook. It sticks right out, and I love it. You got to scream it every single time. I hope to one day see him live, so he plays to the crowd with that one line, but it's perfect. And it's got no meaning to me. Obviously, it's a very introspective song about, climate change, and it's a very powerful and necessary song. But Now I Can See the Whales is just a hook.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, that's great. That's great.
Yeah. For my next one, I'm gonna go kind of in the same theme that Zach went. And I'm going to kick it old school, real old school, with one of the first songs that I can remember, like from early childhood, that really kind of got me down the path to, rock, hard rock, heavy metal, and it's War Pigs. Absolutely classic Black Sabbath song. But like, you could choose all kinds of different lines from that song, but for me, the one that really stands out and has always stood out is right at the end. Satan laughing spreads his wings.
No.
Yep.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
you kick into the riff again, and it's just it sends a chill up my spine every time I hear Ozzy just screaming Satan laughing spreads his wings.
Yeah. It's so wild to me, because I don't think people now, well, not people, younger people now look at Ozzy Osbourne and understand what Black Sabbath was.
They invented heavy metal.
Yeah.
It's yeah. And one that I did not have originally, but now that you mention it, I am going to push Paranoid in there as well, because holy, I love that song. I absolutely adore that song. And just like the finish with my woman because she couldn't have like just the intro, just like it
Yeah,
starts at the beginning with the riff and goes so hard, just like let's go. And and that's another one with Weezer's cover. Weezer's cover of that song is absolutely flawless. Rivers did a fantastic job with that. And I will always co-sign that.
I haven't heard it.
It's incredible. It is incredible. The Teal album was fantastic. The Teal album was great. I was not expecting that because they were teasing. I think they were teasing Van Weezer at the time, which they took so long to put out, and that's their like metal, like rock-ish album that they put out. But they just dropped that in the meantime, and then dropped another one on top of it before they did Van Weezer. Um, but yeah, no, Paranoid and War Pigs, Luke's Wall, because Luke's Wall, even the instrumental on the back half of it, Jesus Christ,
Mm-hmm.
oh, beautiful songs. So then the other one that I had, that I was gonna say before you mentioned Black Sabbath, and this is touch back to a band that I had mentioned with the sad news of their frontman dying, but Too Close to Touch. Their song Sympathy, and this is another one that was one of the first two songs I heard from them off of their album Haven't Been Myself. That and Crooked Smile, and but the chorus on there, because like this song, it's the opening track too, it's the first song, um and it's just talking about like battling with mental stuff, but the chorus, because it's like really so much, it's just more about his like emphasis of what he's saying, not necessarily what he's saying, but how he puts the emotion into the words. And don't you dare say I'm gonna make it because I don't believe a word you say. There's a sickness living inside me. You can spare me all your sympathy. At that point, it was in a pretty dark spot,
Mm-hmm.
pretty rough patch. But it was like I said, it was more so about the emotion and how he put the emotion behind the words, not necessarily because I mean it's pretty cut and dry. You can pretty understand. There's nothing like deep or like crazy about it, but like just the like you were saying with how Ozzy was saying, Satan laughing spreads his wings. It's like the same thing. It just like cut deep down into my heart, and I was just like, oh, all right. But yeah. Too Close to Touch is great. I definitely recommend a listen, a spin.
So for my next one, we're going back to something I mentioned last week for the greatest hooks. Disposable Heroes, Metallica. You will die when I say you must die. The way James emphasizes die just scratches me right where I itch. Another one of those hooks that just hits me in just the right way. Just a perfect line.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Did you have
absolutely.
any more, Spoon?
What?
Yeah, I've got one more. Um, so the
Okay,
last
because
one
I do.
is
I don't necessarily have any more. So
I
if
got
you
three.
have more, yeah, Larry, go ahead and go past after Spoon. Um, so
yeah. So
Spoon.
my last one is again an old school, kicking it old school, going back to one of the first songs that I can remember singing along to as a kid. Um, and if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure my mom has told me that at like 3, 4 years old, when this song would come on MTV, I would like stand in front of the TV and sing along with it. Um, AC/DC, Hell's Bells.
Yes. Yes.
Yep.
Mm,
And
Every
for
listening
me,
to
the line in that
AC/DC.
one
oh man,
is,
see now,
yeah. For me, the line in that song is
now
is
you have
is
me on.
always Satan's coming to you.
Spoon likes his devil lines.
I
Yeah,
do.
see now that
I
you
do.
said
What can I say?
ACDC, I have so many more songs just flooding. Rock and roll ain't noise pollution. That line right there. Rock and roll ain't noise pollution. Just like the whole era of just like, yeah, no, we know you hate it, but no, it's awesome. Um, oh man, ACDC rocks. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what anybody says.
I don't think anybody says otherwise.
Yeah.
You would be surprised. You would be surprised. I've met quite a few people who are not down with the AC and DC.
I mean, you can
Try.
you can say what you want about their newer stuff, but their old stuff is just fucking classic.
It's and I quote generic. I don't know how it can be generic when it's like founding, but you
I was
know.
gonna say that because they are the founding dad rock band. Like they're
And
as
that
dad rock as it
okay, so
gets.
this is a problem that ends up, so like it's actually a problem that we have in sports and a problem that we have in so many other things, is that when you look back at the beginning, it was so raw that the very basic of things were groundbreaking.
Yep.
But like you can't take away from the greatness of like somebody like Jimi Hendrix. Yeah, Jimi Hendrix might not have been doing some of the stuff that we're doing nowadays with the way that people have like dissected music and like gone insane with the time signatures and notes and all that stuff. But at the time when they didn't make left-handed guitars and that man had to flip a right-handed guitar upside down and just shred, nah, the man's a legend and you can't take anything away from him. Like there's all these little things that like, okay, ACDC, maybe it was just a bit like, my favorite example of this and what somebody that I rail on is Johnny Cash. I get it. Johnny Cash is a classic country artist. He doesn't sing. He literally just stands there and talks over music. There is no singing. And I'm just like, all right. This
He's
is
telling a
music.
story.
Is it music or is it poetry with background music?
What is music but poetry with background music?
There's no rhythm. He's just talking. He's literally just talking.
He's talking to a beat.
Barely.
That's rhythm.
Barely. 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 And I say this owning a Johnny Cash album. I say this owning a Johnny Cash album. I'm not railing on the dude, but
Zach's
again,
railing.
it's one of those things where back then this is groundbreaking stuff because nobody had done it better.
Also, nobody was singing about killing people and doing lines of cocaine.
True.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know how much radio time you would be getting back then with that.
All right.
Very different times.
My next one, going modern. Power Trip, Executioner's Tax, Swing of the Axe. It's in the first verse. You've prayed for so long, and now you've had the chance. The executioner is here, and he's sharpening his axe. Just a simple, succinct line that I think carries a lot of weight. It's badass. I think it's pretty hard to be badass with lyrics because it's really easy to write something that's cringe because you're trying too hard to tell a message. But if you just keep it brief and simple, Riley Gale did a great job of that. I just thought it was a perfect line, and it did what it needed to do. Then we're going to switch it up here for these last two. Community Property, Steel Panther.
Ooh, Steel Panther.
Steel Panther.
Steel
Wow.
Panther.
The first line of the song always makes me laugh. I would give you the stars in the sky, but they're too far away.
Wait.
And you can take any line from that song, honestly,
wait.
but we're not that type of podcast.
Are they currently active?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Does one of the dudes in Steel Panther do like YouTube gaming?
I don't believe so.
I have no
Okay,
idea.
then it's a different dude I'm thinking of. It's a different band that it's kind of like the same thing. Never mind. Because I was like, oh no way you're bringing that up because there's a very like decent Game Grumps. It's a gaming channel, and one of the dudes on there has like a pretty decently popular like metal parody band. I gotta see if I can try to find it.
Ninja Sex Party.
Yes.
Yep, I know who you're talking about.
Yes.
Danny Sexbomb.
Yes.
Yep.
Their playthrough of Pokemon Red is phenomenal. The funniest thing I have ever watched in my life, and I would recommend it to anybody because it's two grown men who one thinks he knows how to play Pokemon and the person playing has never played Pokemon in their life before, and they make so many mistakes and it's hysterical. It is some of the funniest stuff ever. But that's not music related anyways. Back to Larry. Keep going.
We're going to stick with Steel Panther for my second song, Poontang Boomerang.
Oh, wow.
Sure as a bear shits in the woods and sailboats have sails. That's a good line. I don't give a shit what you say. That's a fun, perfect line. Honestly, you could do 1,000 Steel Panther lines that are good, but
Oh yeah.
We don't.
Oh yeah.
And then those are my big wrap ups. There was another one that once I realized Spoon had a theme with his songs, I started thinking of a couple. Not necessarily like kind of doing the opposite of what Satan's lyrics are, but Arch Enemy, the eagle flies alone. She just has a line that just goes, "I don't believe in heaven, I don't believe in hell," and just the way with the cadence and the way it fit in the song, I thought it was cool. And then Sleight of Hand, Parkway Drive. There's a breakdown at the end where Winston's just screaming in the mic, "There is no God." And personally, I do like religious imagery. I do like challenging religious imagery in my lyrics, despite my stance on lyrics. And I just thought it was like, yeah, this shit's heavy. There ain't no God.
I have another Steel Panther edition.
Perfect. For the record, I have no opinion either way. I was just liking the line.
Yeah, I have another Steel Panther edition, and
Go for it.
we're gonna go back to another. Well, not a just a what is it? A callback to last episode, and a soundtrack, a game that has influenced a lot of my my rock and like hard rock discography a bit. Skate. The Skate soundtracks are undefeated. On the Skate 3 soundtrack is Eyes of a Panther by
Ooh.
Steel Panther.
Yeah.
She's got the eyes of a panther. She's got lips like Satan. She's got the eyes of a panther. Soon we'll be mating. She's got the eyes of a panther. Ah, beautiful. Beautiful.
Yes.
Like a game of cat and mouse, you're caught in a trap. Like the whole thing. Oh my gosh. Man, you get, this is the beautiful thing about this is like, so I'm sure we all come in to the questions of the episode with our own answers. And then as we share, we're all able to riff off of each other's answers and then build up so many more because we weren't necessarily thinking from the angles of each other on this question. We were all thinking from different angles, and it's beautiful. It's awesome.
I got to add one more Steel Panther song.
Oh, there we go. There we go.
They're going to be two lyrics, different parts. Party Like Tomorrow's the End of the World by Steel Panther. First line, have sex. Yeah.
Boom. Short, sweet, and to the point.
And then later on, bone your stepsister. Grab her by the horn.
Whoa.
Find some horny cougars and shoot some cougar porn, baby.
Oh, wow. Steel Panther's going a bit rowdy there.
And that's their thing.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
Great live show.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure it's a bronze like of that level that I've experienced. Better. I'm not saying like the comparative, but better. That's probably the closest thing I have experienced is Attila.
I mean, musically, they're all top notch, and they're showmen.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
absolutely.
Yes.
That's me. That's it.
This has been a another episode of Blast Beats. Like we said, May has come in strong. And if it's any indication for the next coming weeks, this is going to be a very fun year. We have some October for Parkway Drive. Do you have a title yet?
Oh shit! All right. I was basically I was trying to find the opposite of Revenants, and there wasn't anything that I could see that sounded like a good album. Everything was just hate, disdain, and I'm like, those sound lame as shit for a Parkway Drive album. There's a little bit more panache to their titles.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't give a concrete answer, but I will say it's going to be something. Either it's the opposite of Revenants, or it's a one-word title that deals with moving forward or starting anew.
Or here, I throw you one more. Given the fact that we haven't had any Parkway Drive since 2020 or since before the COVID, maybe it has to do something with isolation or like being like confined and not being able to depending on what the theme of the album is. Desolation, remoteness, confinement.
Desolation would be a good one.
Yeah.
Desolation.
Well, because Revenants, it was dealing like the subject matter was about dealing with grief and heavy loss. And so I was trying to think, all right, maybe it's okay, we've dealt with that loss. Now we're moving forward, we're starting new. That was my guess.
I think we can get a better idea when we get a single title.
Yeah,
So here,
that's what I was
why
gonna say.
don't
Is like I want to hear that single before I chime in on this discussion because that's gonna set the
we'll
tone.
Good
we'll
point.
retract our guess for the title, but I'm still doubling down on October. Man, do we have like music gambling books anywhere for bets to place bets? October release for Parkway Drive. October release.
If only we could
Book
have
it.
bet on the things we know, right, Spoon?
Right.
Book it. Book it. Anyways, this has been another episode of Blast Beats. We're here to bring you guys the best and most pressing news every week and let you know what's going on with all of the new music and things to come up. Be sure to catch us over at the ATB Blast Beats Twitter account at ATB_Blast I am Zach Reno, your host. You can find me over at Zachner, ZACHKNERR on Twitter, doing a bunch of USFL stuff and always repping Blast Beats, diving deep into quite a bit of hip hop and random stuff. Spoon, Larry, let them know where they can find you.
Yeah, you can find me on my personal account at Spoonful of Sport. You know, tweeting out the random music takes, the random food takes, some football, and then you can find me occasionally tweeting at the Blast Beats account. Larry?
Same thing, occasionally at the Blast Beats account, personal account, Radical Larry 007. And then anybody, Detroit Tigers fans or baseball fans in general, I'm over at Tigers_ATB. I just launched a new podcast called Old English. First half of the show, we talk about the Detroit Tigers in the previous week, then looking forward. And then the second half is just baseball in general and topics pertaining to that. We have our first guest coming up, Cody Meyer. He owns a training facility in Mason City, Iowa, and we just kind of talk about the athletic training standpoint, do's and don'ts, kind of anecdotes, stuff like that. So if that's what you're into, don't listen to it. I don't want any fans.
Indeed, it is baseball season. If you ever looking for a someone to hop on talk about baseball, resident Yankees fan ready to hop on and talk a little bit.
F the Yankees.
Oh, I'm sure. Hey, as I've stated, I don't think I've stated it on this podcast or not. I got the true free agent sports pass because Virginia doesn't have a professional sports team. So and in all fairness, I do not have a Derek Jeter jersey. I have a Mariano Rivera jersey. So like a little bit of respect there. That's
Because of the inner
respectable.
Sandman.
Yeah, kind of, but he's also the best closer in the MLB history. So I mean, it's just I just witnessed greatness. The Yankees and the Saints are the only teams.
End
that
the
have really
damn
gotten-
show with this Yankees drivel.
Yeah, well, I rep the Nationals a bit now too since they came around, but not nearly as much. But yeah, we'll be back next week, ready for all the new stuff. As we said, Moontooth and the Black Keys coming out, as well as a host of many other things. Stay awesome, stay classy, and we will catch you guys very soon.